Sexual reproduction implants. In this module, you will learn how sexual reproduction takes place in flowering plants. It is spring season. Flowers are blooming on the trees. It is the beautiful time. Flowers attract all of us. They are the most beautiful part of the plant, isn't it? You already know that flowers are most present only to add beauty to the plant. They are in fact the reproductive part of the plant. In the flower statement is the male reproductive part, while kale is the female reproductive part. Some flowers contain both male and female reproductive parts. Such flowers are called bisexual flowers. For example, pea, China rose, etc. On the other hand, sunflowers possess either male or the female reproductive tone. Such flowers are called unisexual flowers, for example, corn, cucumber, etc. Now let's know about the different parts that make up a stamen. One and a couple of stamen is made up of two parts, anther and filament. The anther produces pollen grains. Is a pollen grain that contains the male gamete. A couple of on the other hand, is made up of three parts. The terminal part is called stigma. The middle elongated part is style, and the swollen bottom part is the ovary. Inside the ovary, is present. It is the ovule that has female gamete called the egg cells. For sexual reproduction to take place, a male gamete is to be fused with the female gamete, thereby forming a zygote. Now, for that the male gametes have to reach the female gametes. For this first, a pollen grain carrying the male gametes is transferred from the stamen of a flower to the stigma of the same or the other flower. Such transfer of pollen grains is known as pollination. If the pollen grain of a flower land on the stigma of the same flowers, it is called self-pollination. But if the pollen grain of a flower lands on the stigma of another flower of the same or another plant of the same type, it is called cross-pollination. Pollination occurs with the help of different agents like wind, water, or animals. Once a pollen grain reaches the stigma of a suitable flower, a tube grows from the pollen grain. This tube travels through this tile and reaches the ovary. The male gamete from the pollen travels in the tube and reaches to the female gamete present in the ovule of the ovary. After that, the male and the female gamete fuse together to form the zygote. This process of fusion and male and the female gamete is called fertilization. The zygote formed after the fertilization then divide several times to form an embryo inside the ovule. The ovule develops a tough coat and change into a seed. The ovary, on the other hand, ripens and forms a fruit around the seed. At this time, the other parts of the flower, like the sepals and petals and petals off, so the seed present contains an embryo which is actually a baby plant. Each time a seed is planted in soil and provide conditions, it grows into a seedling. Thanks for listening.